Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Trade Deadline Day Super 22 Spectacular Podcast live stream.
Is that the full title?
That's the full title.
That's pretty good.
What is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is BrookMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. This guy over here is Eric Ulo at EEULAU on Twitter and Instagram. And we have trades to talk about. Running what are you running? We got Asian Ken Rosenthal in the house over here, Mr. Cody. He might pop in with some big-time trade things as they come along. But, guys, let us know where you are representing Dodgers Nation today, this afternoon, whatever time, whatever month it is. Sorry we're a little late, but let's just jump right into it. Juan Soto, not a Dodger.
Yeah,
you predicted yesterday that he was going to be a Dodger, and you lied.
That makes sense because I've always been wrong about these. So once I felt it, I was like, uh-oh.
You are usually
not good.
Pretty wrong.
Massive trade. How much does it move the needle for him?
That plus Fernando Tatis coming back at some point, that's got to be a massive. And Josh Hader, Josh Bell. They picked up all the Joshes. Brandon Drury. Padres making moves to try to give themselves an opportunity. No, I think you can at this point concede the NL West, but you got to look ahead to that wild card round, trying to beat the Braves. I'm going to defer his question to you. Moving needle, what do you think?
It definitely moves the needle. I mean, the Padres did everything they absolutely could to get better for this year. They landed the trade chip that was out there. I think, Juan Soto would have been a great addition for the Dodgers. Like my hero, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll admit when I was wrong. I said multiple times that Soto's not getting dealt before the deadline, so shows what I know. Thanks for tuning in. But it absolutely moves the needle, and you're kidding yourself if the Padres are not a real threat now to the Dodgers. And, there's only 2 months left in the regular season, but what they're bringing back, what they added on, they should definitely close the gap. We talked about that last night on Blue Heaven, which you should check out on YouTube. They're a lot better. There's just no way you can skirt away that they're not. And they made some huge upgrades. But as we've learned as Dodgers fans, just because you have a really talented roster does not mean that you're going to win the World Series. Baseball is not played on paper, although everyone's, MLB Network's throwing up, here's their new projected lineup and all of that.
They are going wild with that right now. It is kind of frustrating to see, I know I'm one of those guys who enjoys the Dodgers not getting love. On these type of shows, it's better. It feels to me like the Dodgers play better when they're even as good as they are under the radar in a way. And it's hard to be under the radar when you got Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, and Freddie Freeman at the top. Plus, you can't sleep on Will Smith as your cleanup guy. Let's get to a few comments until we get into the Joey Gallo, because I'm already seeing some of the comments on Gallo here. Naz C saying Dodgers pushing for Lopez. Yes, Pablo Lopez. Marlins, not ace, but
ace-ish.
Ace adjacent. He's a guy that he's one of the guys left on the big board. Carlos Rodon. You got to figure the Giants are going to have a fire sale in the next hour or so. You almost wonder how much longer after the fact, after the deadline, that moves are going to be happening. Things are happening in the immortal words of Brook Me Smith.
Well, you talk about move the needle. I think that what we learned, especially from the NBA drafts, is, Vegas is a big indicator of where the public sentiment is. And Chrissy Beckers chimes in here. Las Vegas project the Padres the 5th best winning World Series odds. And she's right. Caesars moved it. FanDuel moved it. DraftKings moved it. BetMGM moved them up wildly as soon as the Soto trade.
What about your bookie?
My bookie, based in Algeria, mybookie.ag. That's all you need to know as far as what the public thinks, and those are also, a lot of experts that get paid a lot of money to set those lines for Vegas. So I think, if you're kidding yourself that the Padres are not, a legitimate threat now, I think all you need to do is hop on any of those websites and see what a lot of people that know a lot more than we do about baseball and betting, how they feel about the Padres and the upgrades they made.
Do you think anything happens as we get through some more of these comments? Do you think anything is going to happen in this next 45 minutes that we're going to enjoy?
Yeah, I think there's going to be one decent move for the Dodgers. Could be a bat, could be an arm, could be both. I don't know what it's going to be, but look, you're looking at who's left, best possible scenario, what we could do with what's left on the board. I feel like getting a Pablo Lopez is probably about the best that you can do right now. The latest report, like 2 minutes ago, was that they're making a hard push for him right now. So that's really interesting to see. That's something that you're going to want to look out for because if they
is reporting, by the way.
Feinsand. I said that. Yeah, Marky Mark. So if that's the case, and that's the one guy, one significant piece that you walk away from at the deadline with this, not that Joey Gallo's not insignificant to some people. Some people love him, like his mother probably, I hope, still.
Not fans of New York, that's
right.
for sure.
But if that's the piece that you walk away with, that's pretty freaking phenomenal to get a dude who can help you get through to the postseason, who can help rest up guys. We talked about it yesterday, and you said, like, that's a lot of pitchers. What are we going to do now, like, with all of them? And I do think it's a case where they are looking at years past, and they're looking at what we've done in October, the months leading into October, and been like, hey, we burned out a hell of a lot of arms throughout the course of the regular season, and they died in October. And if that didn't happen last year, we would have walked through the Braves. We would have walked into the World Series. It would have been different. But there's, I mean, if it's in buts, etc. So I think that they want to avoid that at all costs this year. And if you can get Pablo Lopez at a decent cost, I mean, the market has been set. So you know what it's going to cost you now. You roughly know what it's going to cost you. I still feel like in my bones that the Padres drastically underpaid for Juan Soto, but they're going to pay for it in the sense that I think I saw that their farm system rankings fell to like number 26 after the Brandon Drury trade, which is pretty phenomenal. Pretty wild to see them drop that far down, considering they've had one of the best farm systems in baseball for a while. Not the best, but some of the best.
Yeah, we talked about it, right? I think we all, everyone loves a good baseball prospect, but the odds of all of those guys, all 5 of those prospects that the Padres gave up to the Nationals, all of those guys turning into impact players is just such a slim odd for that all those guys to hit. Like, if you're the Nationals, you're looking at is, you're hoping Mackenzie Gore shows up, and then one of the outfielders you got, whether it's Hassel the third or Wood. But, the odds of all of those guys hitting is a little low. So right now it seems like a high cost. I think in 5 years, to Brooks' point, you're going to look back at that trade and be like, wait, they traded what for Juan Soto? It's going to be like it's a smaller version, but like the Manny Machado trade the Dodgers made with the Orioles, right? It's like I haven't heard one of those dudes' names.
That also puts it in.
Zach Pop was traded today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just heard a name from that trade.
That also puts them in a situation where it really feels like, hey, if you don't win a World Series over these next 2 years, you're in trouble, especially considering – can they even sign that dude to an extension?
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like that.
I saw a comment here, Mark saying earlier, like, we don't need no stinking $500 million player. That is a big thing to figure. They already have a lot of money tied up into Manny Machado for the next few years. They got a lot of money tied up into Nando if he can never stay healthy. It's 12 more years after this season. Plus, you're trying to figure out how to, keep this guy around. And guess what? Starting pitching is expensive as hell. So I don't know where you get the Juan Soto money.
Right, they just extended Musgrove.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to work out Minaya. Like they have. Who knows what they want to do with Yu Darvish moving forward?
He's old. Let him walk.
I mean, they have.
Somebody just brought this up in the chat, and this is the most insane stat I've ever read in my life.
His sacrifice
Joey
flies.
Gallo has 2 sacrifice flies
in his career.
How is that even possible?
It's 2 of them. How do you have 2 sacrifice flies? I think you could do that in a season.
I could do that. I can make that happen.
That's hilarious. That's so
FRG
funny.
moving the needle right here. People, I guess as we kind of bounce around, we'll find some sort of structure at some point. But we're talking a lot about the Padres. This is a Dodgers show. Let's look at Gallo. Yes, somehow, some way, some reason, the Dodgers go out and acquire Joey Gallo. First sniff, very odd move. We saw. It was kind of a no-namer who reported it, and then it started getting around real quick. But Joey Gallo to here for, what did they trade away? Nothing? Oh, it was like Clayton Beater, number 1, their Dodgers top draft pick from 2020. Having a bad year at Double-A this year, but Gallo is definitely peculiar. You have to wonder, maybe they just aren't as high on Edwin Rios. Definitely, you can tell from the first few months of the season, not as high on Jake Lamb. I feel like it's an improvement either way over Jake Lamb. I mean, you got to figure this is a dude who, just a couple years ago was slugging. He's all-star caliber. He has a couple of 40 home run seasons. He's got big-time pop. Another thing I was thinking about too is this guy a bit of what am I looking for? Muncie insurance. Because even though Max hit a bomb last night in San Francisco, 1 home run does not fix a season worth of not good baseball.
I mean, he's also a 2-time Gold Glover too. So the glove is there. The strikeout rate is preposterously
And he
high.
can play everywhere too.
He can play everywhere. He had led the majors with 213 strikeouts in 2021. I actually don't think it's that peculiar of a move for the Dodgers. This is a classic Dodgers acquisition. They're buying low on a guy with some talent. I think also what this really tells you is that Chris Taylor is going to see a lot more time in the infield. If you think about where they have with the outfielders, I don't think James Outman's a factor in that, but if you look at Trace Thompson, Jake Lamb, now they have Joey Gallo. This could mean there's a lot more infield for Chris Taylor, whether that's at second, shortstop, or third base. Brooke has something to say.
It feels like a Brian Dozier trade to me. Like
I love a good Brian Dozier
It
reference.
has a feel of a Brian Dozier trade to me, which, it didn't not work out, but it definitely didn't work out.
Wait, so you're telling me that Clayton Beeter can go on to have some Devin Smeltzer type success?
I have
Shout
no
out.
idea what he's doing these days.
He's been alive in the Twins.
Follow up, is that the kid with Chase Utley?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Chase Utley
All right,
kid.
Yeah, okay. That's not his child.
That's not his child. But looking at the numbers, channeling some Doug here, looking at the numbers for Gallo, 41 bombs in 17, 40 in 18, 38 in 2021. Of course, down in 2020 because it was a short season. And ever since he's gone to New York, he's just been a shell of a human being. But before then, I mean, this is a career 800 OPS guy. It is somebody that we should be excited for, as much as I've been a dude who loves Jake Lamb, if anything, for the lulls of it. This is a move. This is a better DH than Jake Lamb, and you're heading into the postseason. I trust this guy more than I trust the not even a full season combined yet of Edwin Rios, who just absolutely, for the life of him, cannot stay healthy and on a field for 162 games in a year. It's not Juan Soto, and that's what's pissing off people. It's not Juan Soto.
Right.
You saw your closest competitor or closest rival, as Eric likes to call them. You saw them get a lot better over these last 2 days, and you went and got Chris Martin and Joey Gallo. That's not Trey Turner and Max Scherzer.
Yeah, I
Granted,
mean,
we didn't need in the royal sense, communist sense, we didn't need a Trey Turner, Max Scherzer type this year. We needed some fringe pieces, and we've been talking about this for months.
The Dodgers bought a broken down Datsun and a Camry, and
It
the
just needs a tune-up.
Padres grabbed like 2 Lamborghinis and a couple Teslas. Like they definitely made the bigger moves. But you talk about tail to tape, bring your facts to the fight, Doug style. Shout out to Doug McCain. His home run fly ball rate for Joey Gallo, it's way down. His career average is 26.9. This year it's 17.6. And I think I'm a numbers guy, live and die, maybe even too much. But the getting out of New York is going to have a huge factor. It's Adrian Gonzalez getting out of Boston vibes. Like, New York's great for some players, like the captain, Derek Jeter, greatest baseball player, greatest athlete of all time. Just ask him and his offset chin. I think Gallo is going to have a really nice bounce back with the Dodgers. I'm not saying he's going to be an MVP for the last 2 months of the season, but I think you're going to see a big boost.
They didn't trade Bobby Miller. They didn't trade Ryan Pepio. They didn't trade Landon Knack. They didn't trade Miguel Vargas. They didn't even trade Gavin Lux. They
James
traded
Outman.
They didn't trade Hall of Fame trajectory James Outman, who, by the way, is already better than. Will you just shut up, computer? God damn.
We've had a lot of computer issues today.
It was. Oof, that's why we were late. But anyways, it didn't cost you dick. It's you're taking a flyer and hoping this guy can return to some sort of form that he was in. He was an all-star a year ago. It's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot, and it's a classic Friedman move to bring this guy in, and he is a true 3 outcome guy. It's a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. That is what Gallo does. Everyone's going to roast about it on Twitter, but that is just the reality of bringing Gallo into a team like this. And it does provide you some power. It does provide you with a glove that you can move around in the outfield. And for all of that, that's really great. But to your point, it's all about context.
Yeah.
They went out and got Soto. The Dodgers went out and got Gallo.
Let's take some of the comments here right now. We got Bigger 64 saying Dodgers deadline deals Clown World. Thank you. Wide Neck saying at least we got May. Robert saying great arm on Gallo. You wonder.
The Mariners are acquiring Jake Lamb for the Los Angeles Dodgers for cash considerations.
And there's your answer. Jake
Boom.
Lamb, we hardly knew thee. I love you, buddy. Rest in peace. Go hit some bombskis in Seattle. What do they call it? The great wild northwest of crying tears and rain drops falling on my head. My boy.
Are you going to be okay?
My boy. You hurt me, Robert Murray. Jake Lamb. I got to pour one out. You guys find some comments while we pour one out for Jake
There's
Lamb.
that Joey Gallo spot.
I mean, that's what I've been saying. You look at my tweeter all morning,
Spencer Logan responds, re-sign Trey.
The money's there now.
The money's there now. I mean, it's definitely something you think about. That wasn't my like A to B after the Padres traded for Soto, but
No, he's talking about the Jake Lamb trade. The money's there now. It's a joke, Eric.
that one flew over my head.
BC had the makings of a good comment, and then he just kind of lost it at the end. But he said these guys would try to spin walking in on wife with another man. They're embarrassing, and that's a great comment.
Does he mean us?
I'm assuming us.
We would never do that. We're chivalrous.
You don't
men.
get another player as bad as your worst. Anybody with half a brain knows that. But potential. Better. Again, I'm a Jake Lamb supporter. Gallo is better than Jake Lamb. I'm just saying I feel better seeing that guy out there. And we've survived, the 9,000 strikeout players. We have Chris Taylor somewhere in the fold. We will be fine. We will be fine in the communist sense.
Will he have a lower strikeout rate than Andrew Jones during his Dodgers career? Because that was brutal.
Probably not.
I got a probably not over here.
I don't know. Those are both pretty damn bad right here. Brianna asked earlier, what about the bullpen? Yes, there is still not a terribly good bullpen here in Los Angeles. Well, the Padres go out and get Juan Soto. Josh Hader. I got to stop saying we. They also went out and the Dodgers only got Chris Martin thus far. So we're looking at Pablo Lopez. Now we're saying we're seeing that maybe it looks like LA really is. The Dodgers could be the top landing spot if he moves anywhere. Pablo Lopez, now all of a sudden, maybe you don't worry about building up Dustin May to join the rotation and buy some time. Now you traded for your lights out reliever and D-May by going and getting Lopez and plugging him to the rotation, because I've been high on the let's get D-May into the bullpen and have him just go ham.
He doesn't have the swing and miss stuff that you'd really like to see out of a closer, but all the stuff is there, and that idea has been floated before. Yep. I think the key for May to be successful when he comes back, and he's had at least one nice rehab start in AAA, I think the key is having a clearly defined role for him and not Tony Gonsolin the hell out of him, and make sure he knows what the plan is and that the plan stays the same once he does come back to the Dodgers, which should be later this month. I think that's really the key for Dustin May. But I would have zero issues with Dustin May, sliding into that closer role if Kimbrel, continues to crumble because
that's what he does. Yeah, Damian saying if we get May, trying and healthy, the bullpen gets a boost. That is a massive boost. Plus, Victor Gonzalez could be somebody that makes his way back, makes some sort of change or difference on this bullpen. I don't know how comfortable I feel about David Price making it past the next hour, let alone into October. He's been fine. Is not quite good enough. Did I say Victor Price?
You said Victor Gonzalez. Then
Okay.
You said David Price. You had it right. I mean, I think all you need to know about how they feel about David Price is the situations they put him in. They put him in last night when they're up by 5-6 runs. They put him in these games that they kind of have in hand. I think he does have one save this year, which was kind of an oddity. I think the rest of the bullpen arms were just kind of gone at that point. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see David Price move. The Dodgers are only paying $16 million of the $32 million he's owed from that glorious contract the Red Sox gave him. So that would definitely be an interesting turn of events. But I don't think any of us would be surprised by David Price. And Edwin Dwayning, that is not how you spell Bueller. It's with an H after the L. But I appreciate your participation in our live stream.
Nando says Padres suck. Lol. We got Aaron saying ugh, and we got Alex saying they want Ohtani now. Ohtani is not going to get moved. The Angels are trying to move Noah Syndergaard, which would be smart, even though they need pitching. They're not going anywhere this year. They're a terrible team. They are cursed because they are the Anaheim Angels, and that's just what happens there. Looks like Jays and Phillies in on Syndergaard. I don't see him staying there. There's no reason for him to stay there at all. The funny part of today, though, for everybody just tuning in, of course, Jake Lamb traded to Seattle. You have your Joey Gallo spot that was becoming more obvious as the hours ticked along. Juan Soto to San Diego. And a deal that almost didn't happen, sort of, but also kind of happened. but didn't happen. It was a funny morning as the legendary Eric Hosmer was holding up a deal because he was like, hey, I don't want to go.
So he had a clause in his
Nationals.
contract.
Yeah,
He had 10 teams that he did not want to get traded to, and the Nationals were on the list. But really, what made it super juicy is the fact that he's a Boris client.
Yeah.
Juan Soto's a Boris client, and so there was definitely probably
Like,
some very
you
interesting
could
phone
see
calls. Yeah, it was
Scott
The
with
Godfather.
yeah,
Like there was
yeah.
the little, eat your heart out, Mario Puzo. Like there was some strings being moved around. But at the end of the day, there was like, I don't know, what would you say, 40 minutes there where it was like, hey, this trade might not happen because
That
of
was
Eric
great.
Hosmer, and it was chef's keys.
Yeah, it's really what you live for, to see that kind of dumb stuff happen. And the fact that Scott Boras was at the top of it and he's trying to somehow pilfer more money out of whoever, the Nats, or trying to get San Diego to kick in more money for Hosmer to agree to waive his no trade clause there to the Washington Nationals. But instead, Hosmer goes to Boston. And Boston traded away. They've traded away a few
Christian
people.
Vasquez.
They did not trade away their 1B. Kike is not coming back. He's hurt, by the way, guys. Just saying.
Hold on, I'll get you.
Apparently, the Dodgers are not in Pablo Lopez anymore.
Breaking news.
Within like 4 minutes of each other, he finds that. But never mind. They're not going after him.
I mean, that sounds like hey, what's the price for Pablo Lopez? And
then he said,
oh, I'm good on that.
My first hope this morning when I saw when the Gallo thing happened, I was like, could this be part of a greater 3-team trade or something in the works? Andy and his water bottle doing something magical, but then they traded away my boy Jake Lamb.
Things are going downhill quick.
I mean, is it downhill? We were all prepared for nothing. We've been saying, we just did a series of Instagram stories where we said nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, but we didn't know Jake Lamb was going to go.
I think
boy.
we've talked about it for 3 weeks on everything on the Dodgers Nation Network, which you can find on youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Please subscribe. We have said at length, at ad nauseum, that the Dodgers probably aren't going to make a splashy trade. We all kind of sniffed the Tony Gonsolin catnip on Juan Soto a little bit. But I think we all kind of knew that they weren't going to make big trades.
Yeah.
You brought up the great point. You wrote an awesome article. It's up on DodgersNation.com about how the Dodgers have plenty of impact players coming up. And speaking of DodgersNation.com, this guy on my left just wrote the Jake Lamb article in, I think, like 3.5 minutes on Dodgers Nation.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, it might not have all the right words spelled the right way.
I don't even know how to spell in the first place. So
Brooke Smith is faster writing an article than Trey Turner is faster on the base paths. That is a fact. Check it out on Baseball Savant. 100th percentile writing speed.
I tweeted it earlier, and after I tweeted it, a whole bunch of people basically tweeted the same thing and stole it from me and repurposed. But that's how the internet works. Dodgers are set to add over the next 2 months Dustin May, Chris Taylor, Brusdar Graterol, Walker Buehler, Blake Trinan, Edwin Rios, Victor Gonzalez. And hey, if you want to dip into the minor league rungs, you got Bobby Miller, you got Miguel Vargas, you got Michael Busch. I doubt we see Tommy Kahnle at any point this year. Danny Duffy, just stop. Like, there's not enough time to see if there's anything useful here. Notably, the Dodgers and the Padres face each other 12 times over the next 2 months, which is going to, I mean, it's not going to be like, we know how the Padres are. They're going to get it up a lot more than the Dodgers will. They're going to take that little blue pill, but the Dodgers are still going to, they might win the first game or whatever. The Padres might win game 1, and Trent Grisham's gonna do a bat flip and throw his gloves at Clayton Kershaw or whatever, and then we're gonna win the next 11 of them or whatever. But man, you know how this goes though. This is whoever wins the first one, they win the media darling. They win the media crown or whatever.
I mean, you gotta love the sport of baseball. The fact that this Soto trade happened to the Padres, then this weekend the Padres are in town for a 3-game series.
Fun.
Sunday night's already on Sunday Night Baseball. I would almost guarantee that Fox moves the Saturday game to primetime, 4:15 p.m. I don't work for them, I promise. But it's going to be incredible. There's going to be a ton of media coverage about it. It's all of the hype in the world. Even if the Padres somehow sweep the Dodgers, it's freaking August. It's not indicative of how the rest of the games are going to go. It's not indicative of how a playoff series between the two teams are going to go. But it's great. I love that the Padres are playing this weekend. And can I tell you guys the weird story of how I knew Soto was going to the Padres last night?
Oh, is this when you were getting sweaty with men?
I mean, we have a 2-hour podcast, so I might as well fill this thing out. Right?
Oh, I'm gonna drink to this then.
All right, so my uncle, diehard Padres fan, fell on his bike, was in the ER. underwent overnight surgery. Huge Padres fan. And I was like, you know what? For that man's sacrifice, the Padres are now going to get Juan Soto. And that's how I knew.
So it's your
Sources.
fault. Indirectly,
Well,
it's
it's
your
Uncle
fault
Derek's
because
fault.
your uncle never trusted Derek.
I know.
I hate that guy.
I know. I'm only one letter away from his name. That's the fun tidbit for my life you didn't need.
Well, mine's like an oil Derek. Moving on, one of the big tropes, I don't know if it's a trope or what I've seen the most in my tweet, the response I got most from folks, and we got a few folks in here, including Josh Bagwell, among others. All the names that I mentioned, you got some good?
No, you're good. Yeah,
All the names that I mentioned that are coming back, the idea, or a lot of people are like, how do you know they're going to be as good as they were before? Well, you don't. You also don't know if Juan Soto is going to do good in San Diego. You know what? Joey Gallo didn't do good in New York. Things happen. But you got Dustin May, who's thrown a baseball all his life. He's still throwing the ball 101, according to reports out of Arizona. He's looked good, according to reports from his AAA rehab assignments. You know, Blake Trinan, you could assume, is going to be fine because he's taken basically the entire season off to get his arm healthy enough and ready for October.
Yeah, I mean, they've been so careful with trying. You talk about Walker Buehler, and then a name that, you know, we really focus on when you're coming back and bringing back pitchers just because it's a 162-game season, you need those arms. But Chris Taylor, I mean,
Taylor.
below. Impact player, you know, very under-the-radar guy, even though he's a one-time All-Star. But I will contend time and time again that, you know, I'm not happy he fractured his foot. You never want a player to get injured, but the dude needed a blow. He needed some time off. That strikeout rate was preposterous before he went out.
And Hanser Alberto said they're going to fix Joey Gallo.
Hanser is the answer.
In Spanish, he said, here we're going to fix it. You will see, brother.
Let's go,
Also,
baby.
Sam,
Let's go.
bringing up a point that you had said yesterday, she said Dodger team chemistry is solid. And if they don't go through with any trades, if nothing happens, you're right. Team chemistry is already there. And that's a big part of winning. That's a big part of the stretch to October into the postseason. Team chemistry has to be there. If you don't like each other, bad things happen pretty much every time. So it's a good point. And so that's one of those things that makes me feel okay if nothing really happens. I don't want to bring on any dirt bags. Joey Gallo doesn't have like a weird past, does he? I don't know anything about him. He looks like a nice boy.
He seems like a nice dude. I think he's a hoot on Twitter. And then you look at like kind of
he does Twitch too, huh?
Yeah. If you look at kind of some of the teams over the
We
last
got our Tommy Canley.
There you go.
Yes.
If you look, thank you. If you look at over some of the teams the last 15 years, they've had a sustained run of success, whether that's the Giants, whether that's the Houston Astros, whether that's the Red Sox when they were good. You know, they have that core of players together, and they had similar opportunities to make these big splashy trades, to shake up the roster, shake up the lineup, bring in that big name. And they didn't. And I think there's something to be said for that. I'm not trying to paint the turd gold here. Like Soto's a top 5 player in baseball, depending on who you talk to, depending on what day. But the team chemistry thing is a huge piece of it. And, you know, there is a benefit to not making a big trade like this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Emerson says Alberto's going to kill a chicken and drain the blood and make Gallo drink it. Have to wake up bats.
That is some hot pico.
I like that.
Somebody agreeing with the team chemistry, I think, or they were talking shit about it. I'm not 100% sure.
What the hell is a fuzzy?
That fuzzy tube guy?
I don't know. He said Gallo's friends with Fuzzy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuzzy.
What is Fuzzy?
You know what we do? He does it, but differently.
Baseball?
Does he do it better?
Oh.
I mean, subjective.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. He knows more people because he's been doing it longer. He's also probably one of those people that like has no shame and will like DM people. That's where I don't care.
Maddie also says you're definitely trying. Maddie Man says you're definitely trying to paint the turd gold. Well, the golden turd is 12 games up in the West, so I don't know. Is it a turd?
The golden turds.
All right, breaking. Aaron says Fuzzy sucks. So
I don't know what Fuzzy is.
I love anybody who delivers baseball content in some way, shape, or form to mass audiences because we know MLB doesn't like doing that.
That's true. I'm a big fan of people just doing baseball stuff in general
there to
because
talk
I like baseball.
Like your brother Mark?
Mark
Luino?
Giraffe.
Yeah, Giraffe. Mark, the guy who cries over the Yankees.
I think I had a dream I hit that guy one time. I have nothing.
Was it him or Jet Reddick?
Right. I have nothing bad
stop
towards
being
Mark.
so violent,
yeah,
sir.
I have nothing bad towards Mark, by the way, but it just happened. I don't know.
The important thing about the Joey Gallo thing, by the way, and we have a lot of other notes to look at here. Important thing about the Joey Gallo thing is he can grow a beard again. And with great beard comes great power.
Damn it, Mattingly, I told you to trim those sideburns.
Go home, you're off the team for good.
The antiquated Yankees facial hair policy.
Still like him better than Steinbrenner. Yeah, what? Why? Like, dude, the guy's been dead for, what, a decade and a half? When did Jorge die? Jorge, you're old. You know things. Your favorite player is Derek Jeter.
You're older than me, and I love Derek. I actually have a Derek Jeter tattoo. I'm not gonna take my shirt off on the broadcast here, but I got the captain right here.
He doesn't have that.
No, it's kind of
Brooke loves Jeter. Look at his wrist.
it's a Conor McGregor thing.
Oh,
It's like
number
my
2.
whole
Yeah,
chest.
Yeah.
Oh, got rid of it.
No, I still have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
It just wasn't showing to me.
I'm petty.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Richard Petty, famous
Tom.
NASCAR driver.
Tom.
Is that Formula One?
Because I
Tom
won't
Petty
back
is
down.
dead. You can stand me up. At
Yeah,
the
he's
gates of
dead. I
hell.
had tickets to his show, and then he died the week before. So
Mike
Selfish.
Saldana.
Did you get a refund?
Mike Saldana throwing more gold on the shit here. Forget he's a 3-time All-Star. The more I talk about it, the more I kind of like the Gallo thing.
2-time All-Star, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I think he's 2.
He's at 3. Look, he's looking to the future. All right.
Oh yeah. He's just
Free
ahead of
agent.
everybody else.
How the hell? It feels like he's been in the league for 1,000 years, yet he only has 5 years of service time.
So Gallo's last 3 years, he's hit 185, but he has a 104 OPS plus and 398 strikeouts. It's a lot of strikeouts. The Dodgers usually don't like to have more strikeout
People
guys.
get real mad when you use OPS plus.
It's not a real stat.
That's what I've noticed. Like, because that one like percentage difference from weighted runs created plus. Oh, everybody just wants to shoot you in the face.
WRC plus is definitely better, but it's a good indicator.
Okay, his WRC plus is 82 this
They're
year.
basically the same thing.
Nah,
Want to know why? Because the
no.
number
WRC
is the same.
plus is better. I will admit that.
OPS plus is from
If I have
Baseball
to go to
Reference,
another
and they're
website,
ass.
it's worse.
WRC
All right?
plus actually takes into account the situation in which they're hitting.
See, clutch factor.
Oh, I
Boom.
stopped listening to you guys.
So now, kids, we're going to talk
Because
about
I was
wins.
able to
What
move
about wins?
wins.
We're going to talk about wins,
Love,
kids.
Love
Russ
me
Ortiz, eat
some
your heart out.
Wins. Cesar Padilla, he gets it. Dodgers in 4. That's what it's all about. Mike Saldana asking, how is Gallo's defense?
Freaking
he's,
elite.
He's good.
It's
Two-time Gold Glove winner. He can play around the infield. He's like White Kike.
Yeah, but not as versatile. Not nearly as
Listen,
versatile.
you can stand him out there.
You can stand anybody out there.
Listen, I'm going to play third base. 92 games career at third base, 921 fielding percentage, because we know fielding percentage is the most
Throwing out
important
these
thing.
Trash stats.
You got it.
Trash.
You got to
I like
remember, a lot of
trash.
these people are dumb.
You're talking about
They're
me.
great people, and we appreciate you guys watching. Tony Pappas, what is Freeman doing, or better yet, not doing? Gallo sucks. The Nationals got fleeced by San Diego. LA couldn't have beat that deal. Around here, we have a saying in this here office, and that is in Freeman we trust.
No, I thought it was Hooters, 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 yum, yum, yum.
Over his past 2 seasons, Gallo put up a 28 defensive runs saved over 2 seasons.
Kids,
And
that's
a
really,
short
really
season, too.
good.
Seems pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking good for an outfielder. He's
And-
statistically, by all of factors, better than Cody Bellinger in the outfield.
Ooh!
Which is, by the way,
And now we're to the Cody Bellinger portion
Cody's
of our
possible
broadcast.
replacement. Not like right now, but maybe right now. What if they traded Cody Bellinger while we were doing this?
Oh, I mean, that would really be something.
I'll probably shit a brick, to be honest with you.
Odds that Gallo re-signs with the Dodgers this winter. Percentage
I'm
chance.
gonna go low. I'm gonna go low.
Shorty,
Like
get
a melody.
low.
That's not a number.
I'm gonna say it's like less than 1%,
Clint?
What?
just because.
I
Percent
wasn't
chance
listening.
they re-sign Joey Gallo.
Oh no, very minimal, less than 10%. Unless he has a great like rebound, but he's gonna go try. Is he a Boris guy? Because he's gonna go try to get some cashola somewhere. Hey, he's a Boris guy.
Oh, thank God. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
he ain't gonna be here.
Yeah, him and Cody.
And Julio. Eventually.
Yep. Go ahead and go through the comments, boys.
I'm just reading Twitter now, so I'm definitely out of
BC,
it.
whoever plays Dodgers is sweeping them in the playoffs. I mean, folks, let's hold on to our hats here. It's just a trade deadline. I mean, I know it's important, but I mean, good Lord. Cody to AAA by Adams 818. Sources, that's not happening, but you could justify it. Michael Jack, trade Cody while he still has value. I'm not sure what value Cody Bellinger has. Cool dude Carson, Michael Farmer to Twins. Thank you. I just scrolled up and read the next comment. Boomer Assassin, send of Belly and Muncie for 3 Dodger dogs. We're talking jumbo Dodger dogs, plant based.
Jumbo bubba.
Do we get the chopped onions in there? I mean, what
Yes.
what are we doing? Caleb Bergeson says if we re-sign a championship, he will resign, referring to Gallo. Everything's broken. Look, Gallo to me is a fresh start from Cesar Padilla. Gallo to me is a fresh start to be going from a mindset of strict organizations such as the Yankees to where you can't grow a beard to the Dodgers. They let you hit and win. I will take that gamble. At the end of the day, they wagered their 15th ranked prospect and Jake Lamb, who they pulled off the scrap heap to make this all happen. So it's not like they didn't sell the farm to get Joey Gallo. So let's keep that in mind when we react to things.
They did the best they could to give up absolutely nothing. So proud of that.
Oh, good news. Could be player to be named later for Rake Lamb.
Oh,
But it'll probably be cash.
all right. We're gonna bring in. Hopefully this works out well. We're gonna bring in. We get thoughts from Douglas McCain. Doug, I think people should be able to hear you. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. You're looking good. You're looking
man.
celery right
Got
now.
the new background.
How are you feeling about Joey Gallo? I'm assuming you've been hearing us. I'm assuming you've been hearing us try to paint a turd gold, as some of the crowd has been saying on this. And I know you're dropping videos right now. You are working. You're working triple overtime, as they say. He hasn't slept. He's on some of that Preller snort. But
That Preller booger trigger. Actually, this just came in. Actually, Preller just traded for me, Eric, and Cody. I'm now DMAC_SD, and I'm head of the Padres, guys. Been nice knowing you, Padres Nation, for life. No, but when it comes to Joey Gallo, I think you look at the move they made. Obviously, you guys, I think you were talking about Rake Lamb. Felt like a loss to an immediate Lamley member there, him going to Seattle. But there was some redundancy, and you knew when they made that move with Cody Bellinger, Max Muncy, and all these left-handed hitters that are basically sub-Mendoza line left-handed hitters, that they're going to have to make a move. But, I mean, for Joey Gallo, I mean, look, he went from a 3 true outcome guy to a 1 outcome guy, which is just being an out, right? And I think there is a path. I mean, look, a change of scenery, a guy that really he suffered in New York. I mean, he was pretty much the most hated guy in New York since basically Bernie Madoff and Dolan. I mean, he was just hearing boos. I don't know if you guys saw some of the quotes that he gave out in The Athletic. It just made me cry. It was pretty sad to see how they treated him. But, hey, we know that booing works. We saw what it did with Kenley Jansen last season. And if he thinks that Dodger fans are going to go out there and, give him big hugs and cheer him on when he's striking out, that's not going to be the case. So if he has the same lack of results in LA, the fans are going to be tough on him. But I think if you look at Joey Gallo, he's a guy that it's just rough. I mean, it's rough to see him turning around. I mean, it's just kind of funny. A 159 batting average, that's 227th in the league. Max Muncy is 226th in the league with a 162 batting average. So they're basically the Spider-Man meme, just like pointing at each other for who has the worst batting average in the league. And yeah, you just really want to see him get closer to his career numbers. I mean, that strikeout rate was already high for his career. This year jumped up to 38.8%. And look, I mean, it was clearly the writing was on the wall after the Benintendi deal. He was going to be the odd man out. Sir. And I'm just hoping that he can find a way to come in, have some success. I mean, defensively, he's a guy that's a definite upgrade. He's a guy that can definitely help out defensively. I do think he can rake in a church softball league somewhere around the country and possibly Savannah Bananas. But no, I'm just amazed. I really hope that a change of scenery and the Dodgers can just find a way to help him have some success. I mean, he still takes a lot of walks, 12 home runs this season, an 82 WRC plus, to play those corner outfield spots. But I will say that if the only moves that the Dodgers make are Joey Gallo, who is a steaming pile of poop to a lot of people, and Chris Martin, who is a 7-time Grammy Award winner but gave up that home run last night, I think that it is going to be underwhelming to a lot of Dodger fans. And I don't know who tweeted this out on the Dodgers Nation account. You make a great point that you are getting reinforcements on the way. The Dodgers are getting an influx of impact players, no question about it. But I just think that there's a lot of teams out there, a lot of the big contenders, they're upgrading. And I'm sure we can talk about the Padres, too, and the moves that they made. I think Preller just traded for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving as I'm saying this. So, I mean, a lot of people are, they're going to say that, look at the last time that he strip mined the farm back in 2015 when he brought in Matt Kemp and Shields, Upton. It didn't work out for him.
It did not work, and it took them how long to rebound from that to where they're finally at this point again. I mean, granted, they won a big trade at some point, buying James Shields and then eventually flipping him to get Nando, and some of the moves definitely eventually worked out in the long run. But we've talked about this a whole bunch, and I'm sure you've had to kind of play the voice of reason in some of the post games over the last month or so. This is a team. The Dodgers are a team that didn't have glaring needs, and they still don't have glaring needs because, the bullpen isn't that great. Guess what? They still have the top ERA, or they've been one of the top ERAs throughout the season. The bullpen somehow, despite not always being the sexiest to the eyes, it still gets the job done. This is not a team that needed something massive. It would have been nice, but you know what? We've done that. The Dodgers have done that in 4 of the last 5 or 6 years. I'm okay with a Gallo, again, 2-time All-Star, big-time pop, fits right into that DH role and can sort of be a I called him White Kike, Mitch White traded. Mitch White
for minor
traded.
league pitchers.
Oh, man.
That's all it says.
Where? Who got that one?
Mitch White.
Murray. Murray's
Man,
on it.
I don't trust that guy. Wait,
I'm gonna step out.
You got to come over here and yell at us about it.
You can take my seat. If you want,
Take your seat. We got Asian Ken Rosenthal right here, about to jump in and give us the latest news from Robert Murray.
Mitch White was supposed to pitch.
He is. He's just not gonna pitch here. How you feeling about Mitch White getting traded, Doug? Are you gone? Is he there?
I'm here. I'm not here.
Oh yeah, no, you just kind of froze there for a second. Oh, we got Asian Ken Rosenthal in the house. I got to go a one shot here.
Get busy on our boy Cody. I like the look. You do look like the Asian Ken Rosenthal, my man. Hopefully you're nicer to me than he was at the All-Star game when he just totally big time me, right?
Straight dissed him.
He did big leaguey, Doug. It was tough to see.
So do we know the return yet on that? What do you got for me?
It's Mitch White to the Blue Jays for minor league pitchers. Robert Murray just reported that nothing seems to be going on quite yet. They haven't named what minor league pitchers are going back.
Outside of roster spot, obviously, because they need that. They traded away Clevenger to get the roster spot, freed up.
So you're telling me the Blue Jays have not one Ross Stripling, but 2 Ross Striplings?
Yes, they have all of the Ross Striplings that the Dodgers have had of recent vintage. Phillies reportedly close on Syndergaard thanks to
He just
original
got traded to the Phillies.
Officially traded to the Phillies, according to original Ken Rosenthal. Thank you for confirming Asian Ken Rosenthal. Big move, man. But yeah, Doug, let's get some reactions here. Mitch White going to Toronto.
So apparently the Dodgers are sellers at the deadline. I didn't see this coming. The Dodgers, big sellers selling off Mitch White and Ray Lamb. Look, clearly there's some roster spots you have to free up. We know there's still 6 guys on that 60-day IL, and I think that Freeman might be cooking something up. I don't know if you guys saw it because you were going live, but Mark Feinsand did say the Dodgers were possibly out of the Pablo Lopez sweepstakes, and it's mainly a Yankees move that could be made. So I don't expect any big impact moves. I mean, still quiet on the JD Martinez front as far as I know. And we saw Brandon Drury, who's really going to help that Padres lineup there, probably batting like the 7th spot. But as far as Mitch White, I mean, he's a guy that's been definitely solid. He's a guy that can provide some depth in the rotation. I think the way he embraced his role with the Dodgers, coming up there, always getting option, always coming up and making those spot starts. We saw some of his better starts. I mean, last year going 7 2/3 scoreless against the Pirates. I mean, hey, as long as he's working the bottom of the zone, laying that curveball, velocity's pretty solid. I mean, I don't see him as a guy that was ever going to be a high impact guy for the Dodgers. I don't think he was going to be anything more than a back of your rotation starter at the very best. So it's nice to see him get an opportunity somewhere else. The Dodger Blue Jays legacy continues to grow. Say what's up to Ross. Say what's up to Hunjin. But I don't think it's not going to be a massive loss for this Dodgers team. And I think that really you're just starting to see the dominoes fall when it comes to the Dodgers fully betting on the players that they have coming back. And they fully expect the impact of Walker Buehler. And I think that, to me, that's the one that I have my biggest doubts about, just because on top of the flexor strain, he did have a little surgery to clean up some stuff in his elbow, and then just the lack of success that he was having with some of his money pitches before he went down. But I do also think that, I'm going to try to stay on the positive side of butane at this point and hope that he can come back and be that dominant starter, because the reality of all this is, as good as his Dodger team has been, the best record in Major League Baseball, they did their work last season when you included Trey Turner in the deal for Max Scherzer that could fill in this season, knowing that Seager could possibly walk. And then also you signed Freddie Freeman in the offseason. So that was the case before. I remember before, in the 2020 season, when all on the post game shows, everyone was all upset that we didn't make a move, and I'm like, the Dodgers made their move when they signed Mookie Betts. So sometimes
exactly.
they want that shiny new toy at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's really in play right now is we know Andrew Friedman, he does the fleecing, right? And I think the market is so wild right now with so many teams trying to upgrade. You have teams like even teams that aren't just the top dog contenders like the Yankees and the Astros. I mean, the Padres, the Blue Jays, the Mariners, some of these teams that are kind of that next tier of contenders are really pushing all their chips into the middle of the table. And I think that Andrew Friedman, he's only going to make a move if he thinks that it's going to, one, increase his chances of winning the World Series, and he's going to be the winner, right? He doesn't want to give you a big-time overpay. But as far as the needs, though, I kind of push back on that a little bit. I mean, does anyone need a mansion? Does anyone need a Bugatti? Does anyone need a private island or a private jet? No, they don't, but they're pretty cool to have if you can afford them. And the Dodgers, they have all the resources. They have the prospect capital. They have the ability to absorb bad contracts. And to me, when you look at this roster, and I think that, I mean, hey, man, 2 months ago on the roundtable, I mentioned Pablo Lopez, and really it wasn't because I loved him as a player necessarily. It was that you look at the turnover in this rotation with Clayton Kershaw possibly being gone next season. Andrew Heaney, the Heen Dog, and Tyler Anderson as well. So, I think
you definitely need to start filling
needs, but
Yeah, you need to start looking ahead a little bit. They could find anybody in free agency, but I think, we look at Mitch White, heading to Toronto now. You can read it as they have faith in, well, maybe still getting a deal done in the next 5 to 10 minutes, because there's going to be that over
after the buzzer. Yeah, there always is. Let me a good pour over.
But Dustin May is going to be coming back. You really want to see what you have in a Ryan Pepio, who's been working on the slider at the AAA level. I mean,
you don't know what Bobby Miller's going to look like in a September call-up situation either.
Yeah, it feels like the Mitch White just ran his course here. And trading these type of dudes, trading him away, they're doing the addition by subtraction because they are going to need those roster spots. And I'm looking at you, Eddie Alvarez. When is he getting out of here?
I mean, Brooke, D-Mac, you guys have been all over the 40-man roster crunch with all these guys coming back. And Doug did a great job pointing out, I mean, Friedman laid down the foundation. He laid down expectations for, hey, we may not make a big move at the trade line. We like our internal options. And also, he's went on record saying, I hate trading for relievers. He's all about the market. And to Doug's point, the market has been completely whack as far as what guys are getting traded for what. And he probably, like we talked about Pablo Lopez, which apparently who's staying now according to Craig Mish, that was just tweeted out, Pablo Lopez not going anywhere. But Friedman laid the foundation for, hey, we're probably not going to make a big trade. You heard Clayton Kershaw say, went on the record, we got everything we need. Dave Roberts, we got everything we need in-house right now. So it shouldn't come as a huge shock to Dodgers fans if you've been following D-Mac, if you've been reading the Dodgers Nation articles with all those great quotes on that Brooks Smith usually writes up. It shouldn't come as a surprise that Dodgers didn't make some earth-shattering trade today. And maybe they were just driving up the price for Juan Soto.
More of the latest going on out of San Diego. The Padres are trying to offload Will Myers, according to Joel Sherman. I doubt anything happens before then. Of course, I'm really surprised we haven't heard much more from the Giants. They've traded away Kurt Casale. They have other expendable assets.
They have the best starting pitcher available, who's available for the next minute.
With Rodon, you got Jocktober, who he finds a way to get something done. There's going to be so much that can happen or absolutely nothing. And Dodger fans always being completely reasonable are going to totally be okay with just getting Joey Gallo again. Fine addition, not. All right, let's take it right now. 1 minute till deadline on the clock again. Transactions can still happen. The paperwork can still be going in. We've been through this before. They did it in the 11th hour and a half with Trey and Muncy. I mean Scherzer last year. They're both maxes. How do we grade this deadline as it stands right now? Because on paper, 100% feels like an F, and I agree with that sentiment from Dodger fans. However, as a thinking fan, how do we feel?
It's like a C-. I mean, it's a little below average from what we thought they're going to do. They made a couple moves around the margins. They freed up some 40-man roster spots, but this team is already we're not talking about a team that's 7 games above 500 and falling well short of expectations. We're talking about a team that's been absolutely rolling since July. June was a bit of a rough patch. But, I mean, Doug, what do you think? You handle, you have the pulse of the fans. You have the pulse of Twitter better than anyone I know. Like, what is your grade for what the Dodgers have done so far? It just ends up being the lead singer of Coldplay and Pico de Gallo.
I mean, I think it just depends on how you look at it. If you look at it specifically as, did they get any of these players that they were linked to, that they're rumored to be interested in? I mean, I think you'd have to give it a D as far as them to strike it out. But the other way to look at it is, I think I'm with you, a C minus, because they didn't overpay on some players that they just made desperate moves to get. They didn't give away a Gavin Stone or some players like a James Outman, who's the greatest baseball player in the history of the world, right?
Nice.
So they have Superman already, low key. So
Boomer Assassin said he gave it an M for Mierda.
that works.
I mean, Doug, you and I are
winners
big
and losers. I mean, I think some of the big winners, of course. I think the Astros are winners. The Mariners are winners. I think AJ Preller's Coke dealer is a big winner. I think when you consider the fact that this Dodger team, there's still, I do think that, look, I think a lot of people get caught up in the fact that the Dodgers have the best record in the league right now, but they also need to remember that last season the Braves were a 500 team on August 6th and an 88-win team. They won the World Series. And there were some times last year where this Dodgers lineup, they looked outmatched. And I think that they needed one more impact bat that's postseason certified. That's why I think JD Martinez, bringing him back to LA, of course, from a positional versatility standpoint, didn't make too much sense. But if you look at what they got for Brandon Drury, and the Padres getting Brandon Drury there, I think they gave up their number 6 prospect for that move. I think they were in need for another bat, but like I said, you are banking on, can Edwin Rios pick up where he left off early in the season when he was really starting to figure things out at the plate? Can Chris Taylor replicate Ock Taylor? So really, you just have to put your faith on the current Dodgers having success and trusting their track record. And who knows, maybe Joey Gallo, maybe he can be that player that he was and give you some pop and hit a tank off of Josh Hader in the postseason, or do something that's impactful. But I think the other
breaking.
big
Hold on, we got
too,
breaking right now. Feinstein saying the Royals have traded Whit Merrifield per source. We don't know where yet. Blue Jays. It's Blue Jays.
You mentioned Whit Merrifield a few weeks ago on
he's going to the
designated
Jays.
Twitter, Wednesdays at 9.
Mets acquire Orioles reliever
There it is,
Michael
okay.
Givens.
Yeah, Givens. I would say there was a surprising amount of big name relievers moving at this deadline. You had Hader, you had Lopez from Baltimore, who was in the middle of a phenomenal year. Now Givens going from Baltimore. What you got?
Merrifield has to be vaccinated now.
Yeah, I know, it's great. Yeah. It's pretty great.
Oh my God, I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, because he missed. I totally forgot about the whole Toronto. He's not vaccinated, but he said he would get vaccinated if he was playing for a team that actually mattered.
There you go.
So now enjoy the needle, my friend.
Yeah, because you can't even go into Canada, right?
No.
So does that mean there's a 2-week waiting period for him to go into Canada?
That's
There
a great
is,
fantasy football. That's
It
a great
is.
fantasy baseball question.
So
It is.
if the Blue Jays are playing at home for a while, I got to check the Blue Jays schedule, because this is the most interesting news of the entire trade deadline to me.
Oh, they got Mitch White. They're good.
They're playing away for the next week and a half. So
Wow. So he's got
Whack.
time.
he's got time to get it done. But don't you have to do, I don't remember how it was. Was it like 2-week shot?
Well, I don't know what the quarantine process is like anywhere in Canada, but I'm assuming that.
Hope everybody's enjoying this.
He might not play in August.
Well, isn't it 2 weeks until we're not going to play doctor here?
Yeah,
But
it doesn't matter. He's
bring-
traded not to the Dodgers. That's the important part of it right now. People really mad about the whole trying to justify Gallo, but hey, we're in the final couple minutes here of when we can assume moves can still kind of happen.
Ross Stripling was
Probably
an hour
up-
after.
Yeah, I mean, probably up like 10 minutes after the fact is when things will still sort of keep happening. So the big news again. Let's do an hour in here. Soto to San Diego, Gallo to LA. Those are the big moves right now. Looks like no move, nothing out of San Diego. Rodon is staying still. It looks like, and you know what, the National League itself has changed a little bit. The Dodgers, you got to figure, are still the cream of the crop. The Mets are right there. They got a little bit better in a way. They pick up Darren Ruff from San Francisco, which is very, very nice because he's no longer going to be a Giant.
smashing home runs off Dodgers hitters or Dodgers pitchers.
The Giants might look real
Real
sparse
bad.
tonight.
Oh yeah, and then of course,
I bet you they still win.
Padres pick up 4 big names. I mean, the Josh Bell. Don't sleep on that Josh Bell move, because anybody is always going to be better than Eric Hosmer. Anybody's always going to be better than Will Myers.
Yeah, there's
And
just
Brandon
not,
Drury's in the middle of a great damn year. So you put these two teams side by side, what the Dodgers have done and what the Padres have done. I mean, again, Doug, you're the guy who is in the post game, a couple times a week. What do you think the feeling is going to be like right now? Because we're already seeing the comments. People are not happy.
I mean, I think that it'd be one thing if the Dodgers had struck out on some of these players that they were rumored to be after, but I think it adds insult to injury when the Padres, they made the moves that they made. And I think that the Padres, this is their day, right? This is the day that A.J. Preller has been dreaming of for years. And I think that's a lot of work. That's a lot of trades to lose to the Braves in the wild card series, right? I mean, or possibly the Dodgers in the DS. But I think really one of my big takeaways, too, is you got to give the Dodgers a lot of credit for going 21-5 in the month of July and giving themselves this big cushion in the NL West where they have this division sewn up, because the Padres are in a position where they're going to, unless they get past the Braves in the wild card standings, they're going to have to go to Atlanta and win a wild card series, which they most certainly can do. And that's the thing. I mean, they have these players they have Soto for 2.5 years. And kind of my other big question is, of that 2.5 years, how much of it will Fernando Tatis Jr. actually be able to stay on the field? But yeah, there's no way around it. I mean, they're an absolute juggernaut with the 1-2-3, and just think of the pitches that Juan Soto's going to see now. Think of being surrounded by those big, heavy right-handed bats when Tatis gets back. I mean, he's going to absolutely rake. And usually in these situations, the team that signs the big player, they usually end out on top. I mean, you go from cross sports to anything you want to talk about, from Wayne Gretzky to Brett Favre to, us in the Mookie Betts trade. I mean, you get the superstar, you get the generational talent. It usually works out for you. But I think Dodger fans, I think that there's a lot of Dodger fans out there that it's really like, you get the people like me who are always like, these prospects are burning a hole in their pocket. And I'm like, parades over prospect. Let's win now, win now, win now. But there's a lot of Dodger fans out there that are more attached to these current prospects than in previous years. I mean, there's guys that love the Bobby Millers, the Diego Cartayas, even you get deeper into the Gavin Stones, who's really emerged, and they didn't want to see the Dodgers kind of give these guys up. But I think the reality of this situation is Andrew Friedman, like I said, talked about earlier, just kind of reiterated, there just weren't any moves to be made that made a lot of sense, that where he wasn't going to have to overpay. And guys out there like an Ian Happ, to me, if you look, his power numbers are down. Yes, he's cut down his strikeout rate. Yes, he's got positional versatility, and he's going to be around for another year. And we'll see. Maybe if they brought him in, you'll see Chris Taylor playing at second, Lux at short, him in the outfield if Trey Turner walks. So he's a contingency plan guy to give you some insurance. But other than that, you mentioned Josh Bell, and Eric and I, we've been, talking about Josh Bell for a couple months now, and he's really improved against lefties this season. And he just, I think he's got a 142 WRC plus, has never played in the postseason, but yeah, he's a guy that is going to help them as well. But I just think for this team in general, you have Trey Turner, you have Freddie Freeman. Not enough people are talking about this. Freddie Freeman's WRC plus up to 164 post every single day. I really think that, Goldie has the MVP locked up, pretty much. But Freeman's been outstanding. He's been phenomenal. So I think this Dodgers lineup, they are fine. And you talk about previous years, 2018, you got Manny Machado, you got Puig on that team. 2019, you don't have this top end talent, the Mookies, the Treys, the Freddies. The Dodgers aren't chopped liver. They're going to be in the mix, and I fully believe they can win the World Series as currently constructed. But you guys know better than anyone else, it's an absolute crapshoot, okay? You need guys to come back hot, and I think now kind of my excitement kind of shifts towards getting Dustin May back, getting Blake Trinan back. I was very encouraged to see Blake Trinan's comments, who kind of has been really cagey with the media in talking about his recovery, right? And I wonder why that is, right? But, he doesn't trust the media because for whatever reason.
We know the reason. We're just not going to talk about it.
Okay. But I think that I am encouraged by the guys that are going to come back. I think there's a lot of pressure on Dustin May to come and perform, but I do think that Ryan Pepio absolutely
Yes.
has the stuff that will play up in the postseason. Yes, he does have the command issues. If you go back and watch his last start against the Rockies, though, much improved. So I think Ryan Pepiot, or I think Bobby Miller is not quite there yet. I think that's a lot to, I mean, not even on the 40 minutes. I mean, there'll be a lot to ask of him, but I think Pepiot is a guy that you're going to want to see possibly make an impact and kind of have the best guys step up, because I think you kind of have your questions about Tommy Kahnle and whether or not he can come back.
Yeah, I
and
have-
of course
I
the
have
loss to
zero
Daniel
faith.
Hudson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the Giants is really interesting because, you know, on a roundtable, we talked about, I mentioned Rodon a few months ago, and Eric gave me the death stare. He's like, are you crazy? The Giants will never trade Rodon to the Dodgers. But, I mean, Farhan in the past has talked about the benefits of trading within the division. And I think Farhan right now, what is he doing? He's probably watching an episode of Hoarders, probably touching himself because he likes that trash and that kind of stuff. But at some point, you think that he has to he has to unload this team, and whoever gets Jock Peterson is going to be Jock 3 Peterson, right?
Jock staying
2020,
put.
2021. So
Yeah,
get
they-
Jock
put.
Peterson back.
Per sources, Jock is staying put. Passing right now just dropped. Raisel Iglesias being traded from Angels to Braves, so that's another big bullpen addition for,
nobody, by the
Atlanta.
way.
For nobody, that would have been nice.
75-year-old Jesse Chavez.
How is that guy still in the league? Wasn't he an Angel like 15, 17 years ago?
You know, he's actually not posting. Last time I saw it, he wasn't posting bad numbers, especially for
yeah,
him.
but still,
I mean,
he's-
we got to
he's
see
still-
him, so we know
he's
exactly
still
what he's like.
400 years old.
Yeah, I mean, he's posting like a 2.66 ERA, but a lot of his other stats don't like him. I don't know, though. It's pretty good FIP, too. Guy's having a pretty decent season for being 304.
Aren't we all? The official trade for White and Alex DeJesus go to Toronto for players. Nick
Alex-
Frasso and Moises Brito.
Dodgers also dropped their number 19 prospect in that deal, Alex DeJesus.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, really?
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You didn't say prospect.
Well, I didn't
Number
need to.
19.
And then
I don't know. Anything past 8 doesn't really matter too much.
Well,
Get
we're-
into the weeds.
we're gonna keep on keeping on with this, Doug. I know you got a lot to deal with. You got to probably whip up a quick Mitch White video and see whatever's going on. So we'll let you get back to work, and we'll wrap things up on this side. But as always, appreciate the insight and the expert sexiness and all the things that you do, guys. Make sure you follow him at DMAC_LA on all the spots that are social media. He's going to keep doing things until the wheels fall off for him. But don't worry, he's cracked out of his gourd and he's going to have a good time.
My man.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks, man. So excited to talk to you guys, man. As you guys can tell, man, I feel like I'm on some of that AJ Preller right now. But thanks, guys, as always. Hopefully we'll get some fireworks, man. I mean, it's Andrew Friedman. You know he's as competitive as it gets, and you really have to trust him in these situations. Mitch White, it's kind of interesting to see him go, the love child of Yu Darvish and Andre Ethier. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I think just for our sanity, just for my sanity on the post-game show, I do hope that we get someone that we could say, really help improve this roster because, Chris Martin, the home runs were a problem. I kind of warned the fans on that. And last night we already see a dinger. And then Joey Gallo. By the way, did you point out Joey Gallo? I mean, that BABIP is at 217. So, the BABIP gods giveth and they take it.
I love me
you're
some
big.
BABIP. You know I'm in on that.
Hey, Doug,
You're a
are
BABIP believer.
you gonna post game tonight, or you what's the plan?
I like how I was basically kind of sent off, and I tried to like George Costanza it, like pretend like I didn't get fired or something. But I'm still on the show. I might go post game. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, I'm down. Last night it was pretty lit.
The people
The
are gonna
fans were
want it,
going
man.
crazy.
People are gonna keep being mad and wanting to react more and more.
Gets the people going.
It gets the
people
juices
going.
flowing.
This shoulder is for their tears, man. They ain't crying my shoulder. I'll keep the ceiling up, keep the roof up. But okay, so did you guys get the breaking news about JD Martinez? By the way,
This is our breaking JD Martinez
Stays
news.
in Boston.
Staying
He's
with
staying in
Boston.
Man.
So
Breaking
That was
news.
my
I think
guy.
Phoenix is. Someone consult Eric, guys. Cody, go consult Eric, man.
We
need the help.
got Joey Gallo.
I would prefer
We got
JD
Joey
Martinez.
Gallo. Man, when's the Joey Gallo bobblehead night?
We're gonna add that in September. It's gonna take
Yeah.
over the
Is it gonna be a rooster?
Austin Barnes bobblehead night.
Right after the James Outman statue unveiling. But all right, guys.
Are we credentialed for that?
That's my time.
That's my time. Think
All right, man,
blue,
I'll let you guys,
bleed
man.
blue.
Think blue, bleed blue.
And
DNFO live. for
Peace.
Thanks,
for
Doug.
today.
today. Peace out.
And that was Doug McCain joining us, doing the thing he does best, which is talking Dodger baseball. Little moves are going to keep on happening. We'll see if anything happens. I don't feel like anything's going to happen. I think the Dodgers did their moves. They cleared up 2 roster spots.
I bet you there's one trade looming.
Oh,
A post buzzer beater, as it were.
don't be that guy.
Do you think it's going to be an hour after the deadline, like Ross?
It can't be that late.
That one really sucks because we like Ross, and then it was an hour after the deadline. That one really sucked.
All right. Well, while we're here, then let's look at some of the other notes because again, we are technically post break now. So now we need to look at roster stuff. So let's first look in LA. Let's just reset the roster implications of Joey Gallo coming to LA. Well, we saw it here in the stream. Jake Lamb, bye. You are going to Seattle, and that fits the 40-man spot, and that fills the DH spot for LA for I don't know, the next couple of weeks, I guess. By the way, where's Justin Turner? Is he ever coming back? Does Joey Gallo start seeing some time at third base? Just spitballing words here. Roster comps. We got to look at now the Dodgers and Padres. Both teams did something to try to get better in their own ways.
In their own ways.
I think the Padres got a whole lot better, and they're standing to get better with Tatis coming back in maybe 2 weeks or so. But again, we got 7 big names that are going to make a difference. The Dodgers' biggest hole is in the bullpen, and you have a bunch of arms to figure out where they fit because Chris Martin, again, not the sexiest name. It's a fringe name that's better than the Reyes Marantas of the world, better than the Garrett Clevingers of the world, better than the Jake Reeds of the world. So you improved there.
How dare you?
A lot.
It took us an hour and 5 minutes to mention the burrito. Mark the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, mark that for social, please.
No, wait. It says we are 60 frames per second into this show right now.
Did Trent Grisham lose his job?
I don't know. I don't work here.
I mean, he's pretty.
I mean, they've
awful.
had a hole in right. They used Mazzara and they used the guy who missed 2 fly balls in that weekend game at Dodger Stadium.
I mean, they use Mazzara. They use what's his name, Profar. But Profar, I mean, has a pretty decent bat as far as I remember, and he's hitting a lot better than either of those guys. So I feel like that guy's got to stick. But Grisham has just been hasn't he just been god awful this year?
He's been really bad.
You could say he's been 2 scoops of.
2 scoops of ass. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
But however, if he's playing, he's like their center fielder. You got Juan Soto on right. Presumably, it can Nomar Mazzara play center. I don't know. I'm just diving into the Padres.
And they're
lineup
really
now.
high on Profar. They like having Profar on that damn line.
Oh yeah, he'll be there regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he actually is playing pretty well, and he's their leadoff guy right now. But when Nando comes back, there's a lot of weird stuff that's going to happen with that lineup. Is Will Myers ever going to play again?
No, they were trying to dump him.
Well,
but,
he's playing today because Osberg got moved and Luke Voigt got moved.
Maybe Grisham and Will Myers should play around wearing batting gloves when you're hitting like 190. Like I'm all for the old
things-
school.
The weird hills that you choose to die on.
That's just silly.
You know, it's funny. We've had this conversation
Yeah.
at Rocco's.
Oh. I got the invite. I have a pool.
We're buds.
Rocco Buds.
Big timers over
I mean,
here.
I think if you go depth chart versus depth chart, and I hate to say this, but you can make an argument. The Padres might have the better team on paper
we've heard a lot
because the rotation
about,
is another huge piece of it.
Yeah, but name one guy in that Padre rotation that you feel is better than Old Man Kershaw.
I would take Musgrove. Wow. Sorry. I mean, we're talking about this year, right? We're not talking about his 15-year resume. We're talking about like August 2nd,
Musgrove was pretty
2022.
phenomenal this year. I mean, he earned every bit of that $100 million contract.
We're buds.
Yeah. Musgrove, I mean, all of his peripherals are there too because I was like, he's going to have
Okay,
a
well
meltdown.
then name me 2.
It's certainly not Mike Clevenger.
Not Blake Snell.
Not Blake.
I mean, you Darvish,
3
when the
scoops
team
of
doesn't
ass.
know what he's going to throw, is pretty solid in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
He had a
they're-
nice showing in
they're solid.
2017 against the
No
Diamondbacks.
love for Sean Manaea. I don't know what his numbers have looked like this year because we've only played them like twice because of weird, terrible
Is
scheduling.
MLB new? It's
They
a
were
sham.
wait- it's a sham.
setup.
They knew the
They
Soto
forced-
trade was coming.
They put on a MLB The Show forced trades and sent Juan Soto to San Diego.
Oh, Borky, Bork. All right, well, let's do comps by position, and we'll try to remember all the names. At catcher, you got Will Smith versus Jorge Alfaro. Is that
Alfaro.
him?
Yeah.
You know,
I
Alfaro's
feel pretty good about Will Smith.
You know,
there.
Alfaro's the fastest catcher in baseball.
He's one of the fastest
I saw his
Padres
ass get
players.
thrown out.
Is he
last
really
night,
one of the
so-
fastest Padres players? It's such
Yeah.
a weird thing for your catcher to be your fastest guy, but I like it. I don't hate it. But you got to go Will Smith there.
2B, Lux, Cronenberg. Cronenberg Morty.
Cronenberg Morty.
Hey, you know, 2-time-ish All-Star for Jake Cronenworth. He didn't deserve it this year, but sure got it. I don't know. I feel like right now, and Gavin, don't listen. I'm taking Gavin over Jake Cronenberg.
Nah.
I love riding the Lux bus. It's an incredible transportation vessel.
You guys even like the guys? Just
Gavin has a significantly
destroy them.
higher OPS plus, WRC plus. Even defensively, his metrics aren't super terrible. He dwarfs him right now. Sure, if you're going power numbers, 9 home runs versus 4 home runs, not very much of a difference.
They're almost the same player, but Gavin, you know, he's got the quaff, he's got the look.
He's slightly better on paper.
Yeah. So
Gavin
you're
is
now
my
taking
guy.
Gavin.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I
Gavin's
thought
my
you
guy.
said the other way around.
No. I'm saying he's all of his numbers, like fringe numbers, whatever numbers you want to call them, are better.
We don't.
Cronenworth has put up a better B-WAR, but that's, I'm assuming, probably defensive versatility related.
So we got LAD at 1. We got LAD at 2.
Such homers.
It's real easy to look at third base and go SD because you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Manuel.
Machado's been bad. He's kind of fallen off since he had that injury, but
It doesn't matter. He's
look
you know
at-
who's still better than Old Man Turner and busted Muncie.
I was getting there.
Takes a minute.
But
to
you
get there.
went so you got to be quicker.
Okay, I'll work on that, coach.
Because you started like being you mentioned him first instead of talking crap about the Dodgers.
I'll take some ground balls.
Take some ground balls. Shortstop, if we do get at any point in time a healthy Fernando Tatis, I don't know. Is it a toss-up? Because you would think on paper Tatis is better than Trey Turner, but Trey Turner's just so damn good.
Trey Turner also doesn't have like 77 millionaires at shortstop. Like he's not a Gold Glover. But Tatis's defense, you know, I know he makes the web gems, he makes the highlights, but I'll take Trey Turner's defense over him. I'll take his base running over Tatis. Tatis runs into a ton of outs. Power hitting for average, all of that fun stuff that, you know, you look at when you're playing MLB The Show, you probably take Fernando Tatis. But
Is that
look,
what we're basing our things on now, the show?
I just think also too.
99 Diamond,
I
another thing?
don't see Trey Turner getting into fights with Justin Turner in the dugout. So I like I'll take the top 2 inches of Trey Turner too.
Wait.
Fair.
I'm actually going to go lean Fernando on this one. When he's on the field, he's the better player. I mean, you just look at the career numbers.
Yeah,
Obviously
he's the
missed
more
time.
exciting player. He's the guy who can change the game in a single swing. Sure, Trey Turner can, but the other guy has, as they like to say, generational talent. He's an elite player.
He's
Both
incredible.
of them are elite.
Because of the uncertainty following his health, it's almost a push.
Yeah, it
But
really is.
in my mind, it's you got to lean more Tatis.
I might have to lean more Trey just because he is a 162
So you guys
game
are
guy.
picking all Dodgers.
No, I tried to take Cronenworth and I got yelled at.
Cronenberg.
And then,
'Cause you're wrong.
And now we're here.
You
and
were
I
wrong
got
about
yelled
that
at
for
for
sure.
being
Yeah,
too
yeah.
slow on my Machado take. So I am taking Trey Turner. They are both incredible players.
Oh yeah, we did take Machado, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
mean,
Yeah, good job, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, good job, team.
Now is where it
go.
starts getting fun though. Left field right now it's Trace Thompson
And Jerks and Profar.
and Jurickson Profar. I don't know. That almost feels like
That's
a
a
push
push.
of washed up Kings over there. You know.
You got to call it a push just
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
sake of not knowing anything. But I mean, in terms of clutch factor, significantly higher than Profar. That's about it. Yeah, I'm going to call it a push still because
The Patrick Beverly.
because according to a lot of people, clutch factor is not a real stat.
it is for Derek Jeter.
Is it on weighted runs created plus? Do I got to go to another website to look at this?
Yeah, you got to go on Baseball Savant and Fangraphs, sum it all up, drop it into MATLabs, and then spit out the formula.
Now the fun one. Center field, Cody Bellinger versus who? Is it Grisham we're saying?
Grisham right
Right
now.
now it's Grisham, but I'm assuming it's probably not going to be Grisham. I mean, the glove's there, so maybe.
There was a super chat. Sorry, I think we missed a super chat. We're scrolling. Anyways, you guys talk. We don't need 9 people.
But
looking
if
at it.
it's Grisham, then obviously I'm going to lean towards Cody just for the sake of being significantly better. Obviously, that Cody for sure.
I mean, he has the higher ceiling, as they say, that we've seen.
Well, if we're going to
figure-
talk about October production, Trent Grisham probably has the most notorious fielding error in a recent playoff.
Yeah, now they're
game.
all on the same team.
Yeah, so I'll take Cody Bellinger over Trent Grisham. Also, Cody Bellinger wears bad.
Wow, what a homer!
Mazzara's having a pretty good year though. So if it's Mazzara in center field, I don't know if he plays center field to be honest with you. But if it was Mazzara in center field, then I don't know. You kind of got to go with him.
Michael
Not a
gave us
power
a
guy.
$2 super chat saying this deadline was a failure. We became sellers. No,
Woo, Vegas.
We became shifters.
We
shifted
traded
some things
through
around.
shifters. I like it. The shift deadline.
You know what? I'm taking this as a win because otherwise we would have had to DFA most of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm calling that a win.
Cannot
Guys.
wait until we
calling that a
DFA
win.
Two-time Olympian
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez. So we saying push in center?
I'm saying Bellinger.
What did you say?
If it's Mazzara, I got to go with Mazzara. But if it's not, I'm going Bellinger.
All right, Gary, you're the tiebreaker here. I know you don't know what a Mazzara is, but you going Belly or you going Padres? Belly, we got
There
Belly.
you go.
Gary says Belly. So that's another LAD here on this Dodger podcast.
Hey, we have a Cronenberg in the chat.
Cronenberg Morty.
Shout out.
The fun one, gang. Oh, by the way, Tony, I can't really read it from here, but he said Belly, or they said Belly. It looks like we got some of the fun and exciting Padres trolls in here, so we really appreciate y'all.
Hey, can you?
Thanks for the traffic.
Anthony Keene wants that wallpaper. Can you hook him up with that?
Yeah, I got you, fam. Yeah. Just somebody remind me. I'm bad at remembering.
Call me. Text
DM him, Anthony, or else he'll forget.
Right. Yes, I will. Right field. Now it's fun.
Mookie won?
Mookie Betts, Juan Soto. Both of them this year, the averages aren't as pretty as they've been in years past. Both of them, they say, generational talent. I think Mookie has the edge in just about everything. Much better glove. Both have strong
Significantly better
arms.
glove. This is a
Mookie
fun
wins
one.
on the wheels. Mookie wins on. I don't know. I mean, I think Juan Soto is the better hitter.
By far.
Is it by far? Is it
Yes.
really by far?
Yes. What's
How many
Soto-
MVPs does he have?
He does not have any, but
No VP.
How many wins does he have?
He's led the league in several statistical categories multiple times that matter to a lot of people. I'll pull them up so I don't get ostracized right now.
What's that category?
I mean, he has a career OPS at 966. I mean, his 2020 season, he probably should have finished higher than fifth, but hey, it is what it is. It was a weird season. Shout out to Freddie Freeman. But I think Betts is, I'm not saying there's this ocean of space between Betts and Soto at the plate. I think Soto is slightly better at the plate. But to your point, Betts' fielding he's far superior than Soto
Soto's
with
is
the
bad.
leather.
Soto's is actually pretty bad. He has a negative rating.
Yeah, he's
So much so-
and you can just watch it. He's not
So much so that
doesn't pass the eye
Soto can
test.
post a 151 WRC plus and 10 points higher than Mookie, and also have a F WAR 2 lower than Mookie right now, 2.6 versus 4.1.
Yeah.
So I mean, on paper, it's Mookie right now.
The
On
numbers,
paper,
the
obviously
numbers.
we know. I do think that Juan Soto is going to hit significantly better in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Significally better.
Plus
also, he's going to have a
playing-
team
yeah.
that wants to win baseball
Once
games.
I mean, but they're trying to win.
remember when
The
they told
Nats-
Nelson Cruz that they were going to get better this year?
I don't know how he fell for that one, but my boy Nelly.
Going with Betts, all 5-tool guy.
5 tools, they all work. Dodgers win it out. So now let's look at pitching. The Padres have a lot of names for sure. But so do the Dodgers, especially if you get to that point where you're healthy. You have a healthy D-Main. You have a healthy Walker Buehler. Buehler, Kirsch, May, Gonsolin. Oh, by the way, all-star. Tyler Anderson. Oh, by the way, all-star. Haven't mentioned Julio Urias yet.
The Urias.
You got some dudes there. Did I even say Kershaw? Because Kershaw's in there, by the way.
Is he good?
He plays for his team?
Versus Yu Darvish, Sean Manaea, Clevenger, Blake Snell,
Joe Musgrove.
who's kind of their ace. But, I mean, I guess he's kind of such a nobody that you feel confident enough throwing him out in like a game one.
Yeah, I mean, he should
He
definitely.
came up as such a nobody, I should say.
He's definitely going to pitch game one for the Padres for
Yeah.
the playoffs. There's no question in my mind on that. He's better than Yu Darvish is right now.
So I mean, I don't know who has the better rotation there, because again, you have a bunch of names in San Diego who should on paper definitely at least sound like they're better than the Dodgers, but it doesn't feel that way to me.
I think the back end. I think where I'd give it to the Dodgers is those 4 and 5 spots, knowing that Blake Snell has just been rough for the last 2 seasons. Mike Clevenger, the guy's probably going to hit the IL any day now. I mean, he's been so inconsistent just with his availability. Manaea, Darvish, Musgrove, I like all of those guys. I think all of those guys are solid. But I think where the Dodgers really win in the starting pitching matchup is that back end, and also knowing how to manage it, knowing that they've done this in the past and they've all been there. Where I think the Padres, you're asking for, something that Clevenger and Snell have not exactly succeeded in, and that's being 3-4 inning guys in the playoffs. And I think Snell's obviously had some great playoff moments, especially against the Dodgers. But I think the Dodgers are better on the back end.
If you look at the 1 through 5 on a daily basis for both teams, the Padres have an ERA a full run higher than the Dodgers and their starting staff. That doesn't necessarily mean anything right now, though, because you're accounting for guys who have been terrible for the Padres, like a Blake Snell, who is obviously inflating that number. You take him out, it's a lot closer. However, you have to keep in mind the Dodgers have also been doing it with a bunch of not nobodies, but also at the same time, you've had Mitch White pitch a significant amount of games for you. You've had Ryan Pepio jump in there for you, even though you weren't expecting him to. We've had
Michael Grove
jump in there when he wasn't expected to. So while they've been dealing with their bad number 4-5, we've also been pitching with our 6, 7, 8 at a pretty decent amount of time. And Walker Buehler was never himself this year, pretty much at any point other than that Diamondbacks game.
Which we watched at Rocco's.
We did watch it, Rocco.
Because we're buds.
Oh, yeah, Heaney. Oh, Damien says, and Heaney. Heaney, if he can stay healthy.
Heen
The
dog.
Heen dog.
That is a classic Game 4 starter. Like, give us 4 innings, please.
You're going 4? Oof.
3.2.
As of 49
5.
seconds ago, Juan Toribio, friend of the show, no more moves for the Dodgers. They'll be relying on the injured pitchers to come back and give them a boost the rest of the way.
That's what Dodger fans wanted to hear.
Jorge Castillo also says the Dodgers were finalists for Juan Soto. They made a solid effort and offered several top prospects, but the Nationals, like the Padres, offer better.
There's a saying we have around the Dodger sphere, and it is in Friedman we trust. Guy hasn't led us astray yet. And the last time he sold at the deadline, the Dodgers won that World Series. They won that piece of metal in 20 after they traded away Ross Stripling.
And gave him a World Series ring.
And they gave him a ring. It was wonderful because he's a nice boy. Bullpen and bench, we got to look at them. Bullpen, I don't know. I mean, they made moves there. They got Hader. And I would give them the edge because we have Crumble. And I got a problem with Craig Crumble. Bench, we got Joey Gallo now, baby. Let's go.
I mean, I think on the reliever stuff, if we're talking, Craig Kimbrell's not going to be closing out games in October. It's going to be a Kenley Jansen situation. They're going to play it by matchups.
Jansen's going to close games for us?
Totally.
Breaking. I missed that trade.
I mean, you're going to have Blake Trine in there. You talked about Dustin May in there. So I think, on paper, perhaps the Padres are better with Josh Hader than the Dodgers are with Kimbrell. But I just think with the emergence of Evan Phillips, Yency Almonte, I like some of those ads that the Dodgers have, and there's classic Freeman reclamation projects that he's turned nothing into something.
JP says, I'm hearing Dodgers prospect Miguel Vargas is on his way to San Francisco to join the taxi squad, which means JT probably finally hitting that IL and backdate, probably retroactive.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute.
He played a game and they're like, he's going to take some time off again.
I really hate how they do that. And again, 12-game lead. There's no reason to just keep him on the IL. Just let him get healthy. Let him be ready for a September stretch run. But Dodgers have a farm. San Diego no longer has a farm. They traded away Mackenzie Gore while we still have
Former
Pepio.
top prospect.
Still have Bobby Miller. Now have a roster spot for Bobby Miller.
I will say the Padres now actually have an adult managing their team, which is something they did not have the last time they met in the playoffs.
On Hingle McTingleberry's name.
Jay Singler got tossed in the third inning of the team's first ever playoff game. I'm sorry, that guy had absolutely no clue what he was doing. So I think I would still rather have Dave Roberts than Bob Melvin, but that is something to consider as far as I think we're talking the capacity of the Dodgers and Padres meeting in October, having an actual adult in the room, having a professional, a lifetime baseball player as your manager. Turns out actually helps, but Dave Roberts is the CEO of this Dodgers team, much like Nick Saban is the CEO of Alabama football. I think he has such a good pulse on how all these guys operate, how to get everyone going, how to get everyone rowing in the same direction, to use a lame college football coach analogy.
Yes.
He agreed with something I said. That's a big day for me.
I feel like the Dodgers didn't do anything. We've run out of show here. We can keep talking, or we could not, and deliver a fine and delicious roundtable tomorrow.
Let's do it. I'm in. I'll be here.
I don't know. Brooke loves doing this.
Do I?
And we can keep going. But we kind of covered the Dodgers-Padres matchup there.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers win because of all of our homer picks. Once again, the Padres need to win now because a couple of years they're going to have a lot of money to worry about.
Well, and also too, I don't think they're going to catch the Dodgers, so they're looking at a pretty short series there in that first round, and you never know what's going to happen in a short playoff series. I think that was all our concerns in 2020 with the whole 3-game series, which is back this year because they expand the playoffs. So, just because you have a great team on paper, you lose 2 out of 3 and you're done. It could be to some flash in the pan 87-win team. So that's certainly something to keep in mind.
We really hate really hate and love baseball all at the same time. Important thing, guys, Dodgers are still the best in the National League. They are still the best by winning percentage in all of baseball. Sure, they didn't go out and get Juan Soto, but they're still a better team than most teams out there. And they got a lot of dudes coming back that are going to be big-time needle movers, as we like to say in the biz. Brooke, any final thoughts before we get the hell out of here?
Joey Gallo probably hit a big home run against the Yankees in the World Series.
What's it going to take for fans to quickly be on the Gallo train?
He's got to be on the Blue Heaven podcast. That's
Answer
it.
your DMs, Joseph. How can you not do it on
Please,
the day
Joey.
that you need to
I
travel?
messaged you.
The problem with Joey Gallo is every time fans look up at the Diamond Vision scoreboard screen and they see Joey Gallo, they're not going to see Joey Gallo. They're just going to see not Juan Soto. And that's the problem. It's not his fault.
Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
that is how he's going to be graded. That's why fans are just going to go nuts when he strikes out 17 times in 5 games. I feel for the guy, but I hope he does well.
He's going to do well because we want him to. Rest in peace, Jake Lamb. We miss you. Thank you for giving me months of content because that was fun. Rest in peace, Mitch White. We've been talking about you on this show for years. Friend of the network. Good dude. Hopefully, this would be funny when he starts taking starts from Ross or something like that. Just, oh, God. But that's the way the ball bounces here in 2022 trade deadline. Super spectacular live stream, Blue Heaven time, happy, fun, whatever we're calling this. Mike M has lost a lot of respect for us for believing in Roberts, and that's the perfect time to get out of here because we got essentially a fire Dave Roberts from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
It's
But
kind
guys,
of the gong of our show.
we appreciate you. If you guys haven't missed, or if you guys missed all of what happened, it's on DodgersNation.com. Check it out. You could re-watch this whole live stream while you're at it. Watch all the ads. It really helps us out. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Follow Brooke Home at BrookeMe3. Follow at EEULAU, Eric Yulo. Follow DMac_LA. Make sure you're finding him on YouTube as well. I am Real FRG. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the last hour and a half or so. Hit that like button, mash that comment button, whatever people say, and we will see you on Roundtable later this week. Bye.